Hey everyone, this is part 2 of our mini-series on control flow and programming concepts. Last time we had a look at if statements, else if statements and go-to statements. This time around we're going to have a deeper look into a very popular programming concept, which is loops. For loops specifically are probably the most powerful programming technique there is in VBA. And in any other programming language for this matter. Loops allow for repeating an action a specific number of times. Let's take a look at this table here. We have a basic employee table with names, IDs, department, wage, and for this exercise we're going to be looking to fill the ID column with basically an ID. So Steve would have to be 1, 2 for Mark, 3 for Ibrahim, 4 for Martin, etc. And just to make this a little bit more interesting, we're going to take a big table. So let's copy paste this one, open a blank sheet, paste it. We'll put this to black. And we're going to make our table a little bit bigger. So we're just for to make this quick, we're gonna copy paste these 4 lines. So we'll assume this is our employee table with 100 employees that may have the 4 names. The 4 same names over and over again. Doesn't really matter in this example. So yeah, we're going to delete all these fake IDs right here. I want to reach the cell, so this cell here, the range be 2, and then go all the way down until the last employee. We'll open up our Visual Basic Editor to start our code. We'll name it for loop, and remember that you always start a for loop with 4 and end it with next. So basically anything that's going to be between the 4 and the next is the action you want to repeat, or well. And we'll say for I equals 1 to 100, and the way we can do this is by using the cells property. So we might refer, for example, for the first case, we might refer to cells, second row, third column, or second column as well. And since we want this in a loop, we'll use our I that we define right here. Actually, I forgot to define it, so I'll go ahead and do it. I as integer, and then we'll say, we'll first indent our code a little bit below the when we open the for loop, and we'll say something like cells to actually 1 plus I and 2 for the second column. We will then proceed to assign to this range or this cell the value I plus 1. Alright, so let's test this. We're gonna step through the code. First line working, and actually I just realized that I started with 2 and I should have started with 1. So what I'm gonna do instead, I'm gonna start my loop from 0 and then start my cells from the second row plus I. Yeah, that should work better. So let me delete this very quick, and let's test our code again. So first line working, second line, third line, okay. And now what we're going to do, we're just gonna run the whole code at once. see what happens. Alright, what we got here seems to be working fine all the way down to 101. So this is how much time, or how powerful loops can be. They can really save you a lot of time. So let's go back to our spreadsheet. So this was for loops, and there are other variances of loops like while loops or do until. We'll have a look at what while loop can offer. So while loop are similar to for loops, except that they continue on until the condition, or like a condition, is met. And yeah, we'll look at one example. So the idea now is that we'll have Excel keep track of a certain counter that will store in the variable x, and we'll have Excel pop up a message box with the value up until a certain condition, a specific condition, is met. This might seem a bit blurry or not clear, but you'll see in a second what I mean. So we'll open the sub while loop, and we'll start off with our counter x at 0, and we'll say while x is below 5, this is our condition. We will open up the message box with the value of x, and we'll say something like the value of x is and x, close the parentheses, and then after my message box I'll increment my x by 1, and I'll assign to my x the new value x plus 1. Alright, so let's test this. Oh, good point. Just like we have just like for the for loop, we start with for and we end with next. We have to do the same here. We start with while, but we end with w end. This should run. Stepping through the code, x equals 0, message box, alright, 0, and we go again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it should not do anything because our condition is no longer true. X now is equal to 5, as we can see when we hover the mouse over the X. And as suspected, it went on to the end of the sub. And our program is now over. So that's it for today's lesson. Next up, we are going to be looking at what we call the workbook events and worksheets events. These are basically events that happen at certain conditions regarding the workbook or the worksheet. Thanks for watching. If you like the content and want more of it, be sure to hit the subscribe button.